This Sports Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
Richard here now with you, and in the Auburn Blitz segment of our program, sponsored by Dane Sharp, attorney at law, again, for all your legal needs. Make sure you call on Dane across from the Tallapoosa County Courthouse for all your legal needs, and we'll go to the Dane Sharp attorney at law hotline. Welcome in our correspondent for the Auburn Blitz each and every week, Andy Graham. Andy, thanks so much for being part of the program.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's been just a couple hours since we were on Sports Call, and had a great number of calls today on that show, Andy. And, I think we're all ready to turn the page on Auburn basketball and start figuring out a way to talk about something positive. And right now we just can't get anything or generate anything positive. And, it's not that people want to bash the program. It's just they're tired of mediocrity. And we had several callers that voiced their concern of why Auburn would spend over $100 million on an arena and put that product on the floor. And since they built that arena, Andy, and you said it on the show that one of the biggest excuses was Beard Ease was outdated and they needed a new place to go. Well, ever since they built this new arena, they haven't put a product on the floor really that's been fair to the Auburn fans to go watch.
Yeah, I think since Auburn moved into the arena, I think the total, win total, the highest number we've had is maybe 15 wins, something like that. Been pretty bad. And I'm really, quite frankly, we've talked about this off air for years now, 10 years probably, and certainly on air the last several months in this basketball season. I'm tired of talking about the problems and the reasons Auburn doesn't succeed. And I'd like to start talking about the solutions. And that's the kind of the problem, though. We can't really define the one problem that is fixable. We keep changing coaches. We keep ending up with the same result. We keep talking about needing to recruit better players. And even when we do bring in 3- and 4-star, you bring in a Shaq Johnson or a Jordan Price or a Luke Cothran or any of these guys, they're gone after a year. They don't stick around with the program. So Auburn has tried. I thought Jeff Lebo was a good coach, but not a very good recruiter. I thought Tony Barbie was a really good recruiter, but I'm not sure he's a very good X's and O's coach. Auburn is apparently going to have to bring in somebody that's a great recruiter, that's a great coach, and that's willing to outwork everybody that he goes up against, because there are so many built-in disadvantages to coaching at Auburn.
Andy, if we're talking about these built-in disadvantages, then like we had a call that Craig just alluded to here on this program when he just called in that he heard this afternoon on our show, a former coach. So that's not going to do any good to get rid of a guy and then hire a new guy, because there's self-imposed infractions on the program by Auburn University itself regarding AAU. And we've skirted around this issue a bunch and talked about it. And, if that's the case, Andy, then, I don't care how good of a recruiter you are, and I know you just alluded to Tony Barbie, but right now, Sam Logwood and Jack Purchase are the two guys that we have coming in, and I'll be frank with you. Am I biased and am I more leaning toward guys here in this state? Absolutely. There's a guy in William Lee that I called at Dallas County in the state championship game that won that game, put Dallas County on his back, won that game. He's a 6'9" guy that can handle the basketball, that can shoot from outside. He's the all-time shot block leader in the state of Alabama history. And we go over to Australia and get a project guy in Jack Purchase. And what I mean a project guy is a guy that they've got to come in and work with and build up to be a player that they need. Now, does that mean William Lee's ready to become the next Shawn Kemp? No, it doesn't. But he has at least the same ability, if not better ability, than the guy they're going to get in Australia. And he's right here in their backyard, and they don't even recruit him. I don't understand it. So, yeah, is he off limits to Auburn because of restrictions? Does he play AAU ball? I don't know if he does. But if that's the case, then it doesn't matter if Mike Krzyzewski's here. You're not going to be able to get the players you need to be successful.
Yeah, oddly enough, we did bring in Shawn Kemp, and he didn't stay. I don't even think he ever saw the floor.
Great choice of examples by me, huh?
You're exactly right. But like I said, Barbie goes out, and even with these, disadvantages, or even with these boulders up in his way to have to go around, he does bring in he has brought in talent. So apparently you have to be creative, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You have to recruit Alabama, first and foremost, and you have to find and work your way around and be creative and bring in guys that might not necessarily, jump off the page or be. They're not the ones getting the scholarship offers from Duke and Louisville and these kind of places, but they can shoot the basketball, they can play defense, they can do this or that. You got to bring them in, and we're not doing that right now. And again, we mentioned his name again. I told you guys today, maybe this ought to be a project of ours. We need to get Auburn to offer Wesley Person Jr. a scholarship. I think that's a travesty that he doesn't have a scholarship offer.
No, I agree with you. And he was on at halftime with our crew at the Final 48 up in Birmingham just after he won the three-point shooting contest against Justin Coleman, who's going to Alabama. It is a travesty. That's a great choice of words, Andy, to use, because what the Person family has meant to Auburn University in basketball, and it's not like he's not very good. I mean, this kid scored 55 points in a playoff game this year, and he has been a stable player. I saw him last year in the Final 48. He's a very good player, and it's not like you're just affording a courtesy to offer him a scholarship. You're getting a good player, and plus he's got the history behind him with his uncles and his dad that played at Auburn, and I don't understand it. I mean, I don't. There's a disconnect somewhere. The press conference after the Alabama game, Tony Barbie gets up, obviously is disgusted about talking about his future. I don't know what that future is. We had a guy call in earlier today, Andy, and you remember, and he said, well, how much longer are we going to continue to accept and go down this path? And if so, if we do continue to accept this, then that may tell us all about our program.
Yeah, and I think you have to give, an Auburn basketball coach a little bit more leeway than you would anybody else in the SEC because of everything we've just talked about. But at some point in time, you have to show a little progress moving forward. You have to feel like maybe the program is, at least inching forward in a positive direction. And really, as you look at it, yes, we have played better this year than we have the previous 3 years, and we're sitting here at 12 and 13, and that's not progress. At best, we're moving laterally. So 4 years is long enough to bring in the players. These are all your players. I mean, Alan Payne is a Lebo recruit. He's the only Lebo recruit as far as I know. And, the program is not, anybody that thinks the program's healthy is obviously delusional. So we look to the future, and I don't know how it's possible for Auburn to be better next year than they are this year. And, so what do? You bring Barbie back for another year just to fire him after 5 years to say you gave him 5 years? If I think now's probably the time to make the move.
Yeah, and if you saw recruits coming in that you thought were going to be able to come in and contribute, not saying that Sam Logwood and Jack Purchase don't, but right now we got two guys coming in, and Chris Denson will not be there next year. And we saw what happens when Chris Denson gets shut down, scores 6 points. Auburn looked pretty bad in Tuscaloosa Saturday, and he's not going to be there next year. So I don't know what the answer is, but we'll move on from that subject and leave that for another day. Andy, we appreciate you being part of the Auburn Blitz, sponsored by Dane Sharp each and every week, and look forward to seeing you on Sports Call again.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for a bit of information, the Capital City Classic was it was canceled this evening.
Yes.
Going to reschedule it for tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Riverwalk Stadium, Auburn and Alabama in baseball. Andy, thanks so much.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it so much. That's Andy Graham, our co-host at Sports Call, and our correspondent here on the Auburn Blitz segment, sponsored by Dane Sharp, attorney at law. Again, for all your legal needs, make sure you call on Dane Sharp, 256-825-4631. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.